I knew you said the team was coming around, but did you expect it to happen sort of this way with so many guys out and Gabe Vincent stepping up and so many other guys filling in?
No, I can't say that I predict anything that's happened this year. But what I do commend and what you want out of a team is that you're growing from your experiences. Particularly if you have some tough times, some adversity, you want that to bring a team closer together. And that's kind of what I've been saying, that's what I felt the last 3 weeks, regardless of the very tough, crushing losses or the wins. You just can kind of sense when a team is getting bonded by those collective experiences. And in specific, the grit that we're developing is that even when there's some uneven times during the course of the game, we understand that it's a long game. You got to work the game. You got to try to wear on teams. Particularly defensively, we're getting much more consistent to our identity. And then as that happens, guys are starting to get healthier and find a more offensive rhythm. And the two biggest examples of that would be Gabe and Vic. They're getting healthier, and with the more minutes and more games, they're getting more comfortable with our offense, and you can see that they just give us a great punch, off the bench.
About Vic, I know you've said in the past that his progress is not going to be linear, right, with what he's gone through. But how encouraging is just the consistency that he's had these last few weeks with his impact on both ends?
Yeah, it's really encouraging. He's a major X factor for our team. That's what we had hoped for. That's what we anticipated. Even if you go back 2 years ago, I thought that team had a chance to be really good the year after the bubble when we acquired him, and it was short-lived. But you could tell even in those 4 games, it was like, okay, this looks different. This is going to help our team quite a bit, and that's what you're seeing right here. And he's had the mental and emotional stability to let it happen at the right pace and happen organically. When he first came back, I don't even know how many games he's played, less than 20, probably around 17. Initially it was just to give us that defensive presence, and then to be a facilitator for that second unit. It sounds great on paper, but if you ask a former All-NBA player and a former All-Star, regardless of what they've gone through, I would say 90% of them would say, no way. Put me in a position where I can be who I was. He understood that this was, going to take some time and to be patient with this process. And ultimately it would be about delayed gratification, and to build it up in a healthy way. And he hasn't skipped any steps. He's built up his body. He's taken every role and then conquer that role and get to the next one. And he's just been a great boost for us.
Shots still have to fall, but with Gabe and Vic playing like that, and then you've also got Tyler and Kyle who will be healthy. Is this as good of a group of ball handlers as you have had when it comes to attacking drop coverage and that space?
I hadn't thought about that. But Tyler for sure is like the drop killer. Bam's improvement was based out of, us struggling with the deep drop coverage, so we just worked on it ad nauseum. And his player development a lot of times was specific to that. So that really helps. Gabe has really worked on this now for 3 years. He was part of that playoff, series, so he's gotten much better against that. And Vic is a former, player. I say that with all the respect. He can play out of any coverage. So that certainly helps.
Just going back to Gabe there, I mean, it's been last season you talked a lot about kind of turning him from like a scoring 2 into a 1 and giving him those responsibilities, and then he has nights like this, 27, 20. I'm just curious, what you think about his growth over the last 2-3 years, kind of balancing those different sort of responsibilities.
Yeah, I think people tend to forget that he was in our program in Sioux Falls. EG coached him, and we started developing a lot of these habits, and he was in the bubble. We had so many practices and film sessions, player development sessions that he was a part of that helped really lay the foundation that you're seeing, in these last couple of games. And he has the emotional stability to handle different roles that not every player in this league can accept. He can play off the ball, he can play on the ball, he can play as a little bit more of a scorer, he can be more of a facilitator if we have our full health. Those kind of guys are so invaluable in this league.
Spo Haywood only goes 3 of 4 tonight, but it seems like he's complimented, I guess, that first unit pretty well.
He played really well tonight.
Just where do you think, I guess, the fit is offensively specifically, like how it's clicked so quickly?
He has been dealing with some minor things, and that's because he's just crushing all the things behind the scenes that our player development, program demands. So that progress is not something that's we've just been working on the last 2 weeks or since he started playing, in the rotation, since we've had the moving parts. This has been last year, all the practice sessions, summer league, August, September, and he's embraced this role. I think the role he played in summer league I thought was really important, and I think a lot of guys in that situation, they try to make a big splash and not play as a role player, but to try to score 25 points a game. He played the exact role that we're playing him in right now, and that took some emotional stability. So you're encouraged when guys get a lot better, but they also accept and embrace that kind of role. And he was really good tonight, really important. Okay, thank you.